Gavin Anderson helped. Then there was some. Time?
I actually mentioned it to Matthew, and I said, if you're around when they're doing this, you should go and do.
Nice to get that stupid thing done.
So, but he was not here yesterday. Well, he left at noon to go back.
I did more tamping yesterday, and
What did you guys do for the?
It's in there. It should be done.
Regular concrete, or did
we dumped it. We dropped them, at least 3 feet, and then we dumped 2 bags of Quikrete in.
Quikrete?
Just then let the moisture.
January is a great time to take a look at a brand new Buick from Dave Haler Automotive in Webster.
The Galley Hotel Bar and Grill is on Highway 12 in Webster. Comfortable, non-smoking rooms and their steakhouse and bar are open 7 days a week with the grill opening daily at 5 p.m. Daily specials and popular Wings Wednesdays with over 14 sauces with traditional bone-in or boneless wings. Thursdays feature Chislick special night and their slow-cooked prime rib is served on Friday and Saturday nights. Check them out on Facebook or call 605-345-9989 for reservations.
Partnering with champions. RDO does that. Whether it's on the farm, the football field, or in the backyard, RDO prides itself on partnering with champions. For over 100 years, John Deere has been a champion of building the finest compact tractors available. Let RDO Equipment Company be your compact tractor sales and service champion. Plus, with 0% financing available, there's never been a better time to purchase your next compact tractor. Don't miss your chance to discover the RDO Equipment Company difference for yourself. Visit RDOequipment.com to find a dealer near you.
At A&W, it's called the original Bacon Double Cheeseburger because we invented it. You're welcome, world. 100% U.S. beef, crispy hickory smoked bacon, invented and perfected here. Not to mention, it's just better with made fresh A&W root beer. At participating restaurants, prices may vary. Tax extra.
So like when Caleb's taken it 3 times.
Winning isn't everything. It's how you play the game that counts. If your values tell you
Highest.
How many taken?
Yep. And now they will do a super score starting, in September.
Yeah, it started.
Yep. I don't know how that super score is going to come together if ACT's
be the same, let's start a new conversation about money. At Thrivent Financial, we believe money is a tool, not a goal. Because it's not just about making more, it's about doing more. For your family, church, and community. Call Webster Thrivent Financial today at 605-345-3635.
Even simple tasks of everyday life can be overwhelming after an illness or injury. When you're facing physical challenges, physical therapy services at Sanford Health can provide the extra support you need. Our integrated team will help you regain your mobility and strength, getting you back to daily activities as safely as possible. We will focus on your recovery so you can get back to feeling more like you. To make an appointment at Sanford Health in Webster, call 605-588-3186.
Life's an adventure filled with excitement, challenges, and achievement. Farmers Union Insurance can provide you the safety net to keep you moving toward your goals and enjoying life's rewards. With multiple locations across the state, Farmers Union Insurance agents provide quick quotes and professional services you deserve. Since 1948, Farmers Union Insurance has focused on insuring the people of South Dakota. From the most remote quarter section to the busiest intersection, Farmers Union Insurance, insuring a brighter tomorrow.
January is a great time to take a look at a brand new Buick from Dave Haler Automotive in Webster. We've got 0% interest for up to 72 months on the 2019 Buick Enclave, Buick Envision, and the Buick Encore. We got a great selection of these vehicles, so come take a look. Also, if you have a GM card, check your statement for extra earnings this month. Dave Haler Automotive, East Highway 12 in Webster, on the web, halerauto.com.
The Galley Hotel Bar and Grill is on Highway 12 in Webster. Comfortable, non-smoking rooms and their steakhouse and bar are open 7 days a week with the grill opening daily at 5 p.m. Daily specials and popular Wings Wednesdays with over 14 sauces with traditional bone-in or boneless wings. Thursdays feature Chislick special night and their slow-cooked prime rib is served on Friday and Saturday nights. Check them out on Facebook or call 605-345-9989 for reservations.
Partnering with champions. RDO does that. Whether it's on the farm, the football field, or in the backyard, RDO prides itself on partnering with champions. For over 100 years, John Deere has been a champion of building the finest compact tractors available. Let RDO Equipment Company be your compact tractor sales and service champion. Plus, with 0% financing available, there's never been a better time to purchase your next compact tractor. Don't miss your chance to discover the RDO Equipment Company difference for yourself. Visit RDOequipment.com to find a dealer near you.
At A&W, it's called the original Bacon Double Cheeseburger because we invented it. You're welcome, world. 100% U.S. beef, crispy hickory smoked bacon, invented and perfected here. Not to mention, it's just better with made fresh A&W root beer. At participating restaurants, prices may vary. Tax extra.
Winning isn't everything. It's how you play the game that counts. If your values tell you the same, let's start a new conversation about money. At Thrivent Financial, we believe money is a tool, not a goal. Because it's not just about making more, it's about doing more. For your family, church, and community. Call Webster Thrivent Financial today at 605-345-3635.
Even simple tasks of everyday life can be overwhelming after an illness or injury. When you're facing physical challenges, physical therapy services at Sanford Health can provide the extra support you need. Our integrated team will help you regain your mobility and strength, getting you back to daily activities as safely as possible. We will focus on your recovery so you can get back to feeling more like you. To make an appointment at Sanford Health in Webster, call 605-588-3186.
Life's an adventure filled with excitement, challenges, and achievement. Farmers Union Insurance can provide you the safety net to keep you moving toward your goals and enjoying life's rewards. With multiple locations across the state, Farmers Union Insurance agents provide quick quotes and professional services you deserve. Since 1948, Farmers Union Insurance has focused on insuring the people of South Dakota. From the most remote quarter section to the busiest intersection, Farmers Union Insurance, insuring a brighter tomorrow.
January is a great time to take a look at a brand new Buick from Dave Haler Automotive in Webster. We've got 0% interest for up to 72 months on the 2019 Buick Enclave, Buick Envision, and the Buick Encore. We got a great selection of these vehicles, so come take a look. Also, if you have a GM card, check your statement for extra earnings this month. Dave Haler Automotive, East Highway 12 in Webster, on the web, halerauto.com.
The Galley Hotel Bar and Grill is on Highway 12 in Webster. Comfortable, non-smoking rooms and their steakhouse and bar are open 7 days a week with the grill opening daily at 5 p.m. Daily specials and popular Wings Wednesdays with over 14 sauces with traditional bone-in or boneless wings. Thursdays feature Chislick special night and their slow-cooked prime rib is served on Friday and Saturday nights. Check them out on Facebook or call 605-345-9989 for reservations.
Partnering with champions. RDO does that. Whether it's on the farm, the football field, or in the backyard, RDO prides itself on partnering with champions. For over 100 years, John Deere has been a champion of building the finest compact tractors available. Let RDO Equipment Company be your compact tractor sales and service champion. Plus, with 0% financing available, there's never been a better time to purchase your next compact tractor. Don't miss your chance to discover the RDO Equipment Company difference for yourself. Visit RDOequipment.com to find a dealer near you.
At A&W, it's called the original Bacon Double Cheeseburger because we invented it. You're welcome, world. 100% U.S. beef, crispy hickory smoked bacon, invented and perfected here. Not to mention, it's just better with made fresh A&W root beer. At participating restaurants, prices may vary. Tax extra.
Winning isn't everything. It's how you play the game that counts. If your values tell you the same, let's start a new conversation about money. At Thrivent Financial, we believe money is a tool, not a goal. Because it's not just about making more, it's about doing more. For your family, church, and community. Call Webster Thrivent Financial today at 605-345-3635.
Even simple tasks of everyday life can be overwhelming after an illness or injury. When you're facing physical challenges, physical therapy services at Sanford Health can provide the extra support you need. Our integrated team will help you regain your mobility and strength, getting you back to daily activities as safely as possible. We will focus on your recovery so you can get back to feeling more like you. To make an appointment at Sanford Health in Webster, call 605-588-3186.
Life's an adventure filled with excitement, challenges, and achievement. Farmers Union Insurance can provide you the safety net to keep you moving toward your goals and enjoying life's rewards. With multiple locations across the state, Farmers Union Insurance agents provide quick quotes and professional services you deserve. Since 1948, Farmers Union Insurance has focused on insuring the people of South Dakota. From the most remote quarter section to the busiest intersection, Farmers Union Insurance, insuring a brighter tomorrow.
January is a great time to take a look at a brand new Buick from Dave Haler Automotive in Webster. We've got 0% interest for up to 72 months on the 2019 Buick Enclave, Buick Envision, and the Buick Encore. We got a great selection of these vehicles, so come take a look. Also, if you have a GM card, check your statement for extra earnings this month. Dave Haler Automotive, East Highway 12 in Webster, on the web, halerauto.com.
The Galley Hotel Bar and Grill is on Highway 12 in Webster. Comfortable, non-smoking rooms and their steakhouse and bar are open 7 days a week with the...
We are live, gentlemen. And driving through the field.
All right, gentlemen, it's 7 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. Stand to say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public communications. I'll just throw out, folks, I thought we should at least take a moment to recognize that Webster Area School District lost 2 teachers last week that had been here for many years. I'm going to read straight from Charlotte Hoversted's obituary that she arrived in Webster, South Dakota in 1972 and served as the middle and high school home economics instructor from 1972 to 2003 and served as the advisor for 28 proms. During these 32 school years, she taught young people important life skills, including cooking, sewing, and living independently. More importantly, though, she taught them that they were valued, respected, and important. In students whom others may have cast aside, she saw their inherent value and helped them to see it too. She treasured the relationships with her students and loved to connect with them through Facebook. Many students still have the aprons they sewed and their favorite recipes, usually banana bread, that they made in Mrs. H's home ec class. In addition, we also lost a longtime fifth grade teacher. I believe Teresa Boyk passed away late last week. A great 5th grade teacher who was my 5th grade teacher, may have been a few other 5th grade teachers in this room. Webster was lucky to have Mrs. Hoverstadt and Mrs. Boyk, and they will be sorely missed in our community. And I thought we should just take a moment to recognize those 2 teachers here tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, anything else on public communications? Conflict disclosures? None? Motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting of September 9th and our special board meeting of September 23rd.
So moved.
Thank you, Marty. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gatkowski. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve the financial statements as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Discussion?
I would just like to bring up, just in case anyone missed it in your notes, we did meet the teacher compensation accountability this year, and our general cash fund balance, we are compliant. We have received the majority of the Corona relief funds, and will receive the remaining portion of that in November after they verify our enrollment on student count day.
Those, you have them all noted in there
In your notes.
on the CARES, yeah.
Oh,
Under the
yes,
expenditures.
you mean the expenditures? Yes,
Back
but
and
the
forth.
revenue that we received was not based on our expenditures, it was based on our enrollment.
Under the expenditures for that, all the CARES Act and COVID, as it was listed in there, on the revised budget column, there's nothing listed. So, but it's down further in the, like for the high school, or where is that money that we spent it?
Right, and now, I am just, up to this point, those were just our funds because we didn't know if we were gonna get money or not, so I'm tracking it separately so we can keep track of it. So now, after we receive our final portion, then a supplemental budget will come through on your agenda. And so the revenue will show up, and then I'll have expenditures line up in the budgeted column. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, cause there was nothing shown in
Right,
the revised
yeah,
budget part.
right, we didn't have anything budgeted for it, but I was just tracking it separately in case we needed to prove anything.
And what was the, under the expenditures report, the other improvement of INST, institution?
Yeah, that was our professional development. We had, this summer, and that came from part of our CARES Act money, and that's the supplemental budget we're approving this month. That was for teachers that took what they
Teachers
got
took,
paid for.
training with Seesaw, Google Classrooms,
Distance learning.
and they also did, Microsoft Meets or whatever it was. So the teachers attended training. Most of them did at least 2 full days of training, and we were basically budgeted $200 per day with this particular training.
So there again, it wasn't listed under the revised budget.
But it will be next month because now we're approving the supplemental budget, so I'll go in and enter it.
Any other questions on the financial statements? Thank you, Lori. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve claims.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Larry. Discussion? Looked pretty standard. I didn't see anything out of line. I thought everything was good.
Fuel surcharge, got the money back.
Yeah?
Are we still busing to CTE, or did we not?
No.
I thought we-
No, we, well, we are for one period a
At the
day,
end of the day.
the exploratory class.
We used to do 2, but this year we cut it back down to 1. So we transport 1, they transport 1.
Well, there's three classes down there, so, we transport. There's just a couple of kids that need transportation, and we provide that, with the school van instead.
Any other questions as to claims? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to accept our snow removal bid.
So moved.
Thank you, Larry. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Gatkowski. Discussion?
Pretty much the same as last year, was that? A little different, but
Yeah, he added a couple things. Was the service good?
Yeah, the service has been fine. We didn't utilize it as much last year because in March, we ended school. So the previous spring was a lot heavier. Yeah, he's always done a good job for us.
I haven't heard any complaints.
The one concern I had was when he pushes snow all the way out to the baseball field, he does pick up some of that pea rock and then it gets dumped on the baseball field out there, softball field. So maybe I'll see if he can maybe lift up a little bit when he's going out that way. So he doesn't pick up so much of that pea rock.
Where's that at?
He
Right
takes
over
it
here.
from the.
He'll take it from the playground and then head
To the
south
east.
and then dump it out there in the open
Okay.
area where the softball field is.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor of accepting the snow removal bid of BW Landscaping Services LLC? Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion to approve supplemental budget 2-10-20.
So move.
Thank you, Larry. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Joel. Discussion, I think we kind of just hit that.
Yep, the majority of this is for the CARES Act money, and it was not included in our first budget because it had not been approved by peer yet, so now we have that and we're moving it into our budget. And then the other is just, there was a little bit of Title II carryover money left, so we did an amendment so we can utilize those funds also.
Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. One of our favorite ones, motion to approve our delegate assembly, or our delegate to the Association of South Dakota School Boards Assembly.
Don't move.
Everybody volunteer at once. Larry moved. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Joel. Discussion. Now, I've done it once, twice.
I did it last year.
Larry's done it.
No, they won't have it.
And I think Larry does a very good job at it.
Well, they won't have it this year, will they?
I don't know if they will. You know, you would think with, who knows with COVID, I mean, how will they, they'll do something. Will they Zoom it?
I would guess, wouldn't you?
It's usually, isn't the meeting middle to end of November in Pierre?
Yep.
If I remember right, Jim, does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was November. If anyone wants to do it, fine. If not, I would.
Well, Joel thinks you're doing a fine job. You're volunteering. Mr. Gaikowski, you want it?
I agree with that.
Marty?
I'm good with Larry doing it.
All right. Larry, thank you very much for
Thank you,
being our
Larry.
delegate again. All in favor of Larry Jareva being the delegate, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Larry. All right, discussion items. ACT update. Mrs. Larson, we'll turn it over to you, please.
All right, well, thank you for letting me come in tonight.
Thanks for coming.
On one side, the side that I put up is the council's report, and I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of what I've been doing. I'm definitely not gonna read the list to you, but you can do that yourself. One of my big highlights from there, though, was I went through and I met with all 9th through 11th grade students, and I've had meeting times with most of the seniors. So that's been really interesting, getting to know the students here. One thing that I'm preparing for is free college application week is November 2nd through the 6th. I plan on having activities and prizes to give out to the kids as we get to that week. So those are some of the highlights from my counselor's report. The backside is ACT data that you guys asked about at the last meeting. Do note that many testing sessions were canceled. The April one, the June one was canceled, July they did have, and they've now added dates in September. So this data does not include the September, October testing dates that have happened. It's basically 2019 fall and February data. Also, do note that a lot of colleges are not requiring ACT or SAT test scores out through 2021. So that might change a few things also. With that, there are 4 parts to the ACT: science, math, reading, and English. And if you look at that, all of those readiness areas have increased. So those percentages are the percentage of students that leave here that are college ready in those areas. Some of them aren't as high as what we probably would like to see, but do note that all of them had an increase from the test for 1920 from 1819. Last thing that I want to bring up is our students, our seniors, take the National Career Readiness Certificate, and that shows career readiness. Your students do very well in that, so be proud of those scores. You had there's platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. And platinum, you had 4 students receive that. 14 students received gold and 16 received silver. So you have some very, that was last year's senior class. This year's senior class will again take it in February, which that does help with our report card on the college and career readiness part too. So, do you guys have any questions, I guess?
I've got one just to clarify in my own mind. ACT scores, there's not a start and stop date. The student can take it how many times?
They can take it as many times as they want.
Over a period of how long?
Most start as juniors taking it because that lets them be able to take dual credit classes.
Could they take it as sophomores?
They could, depending on their course load.
And do the scores typically go up if they take it over a period of 2 years, or? I'm just curious when these scores, I mean, if they take it the first time, if they take it 5 times, I would think they'd be getting a better score.
Should be.
Yeah.
Doesn't always mean that's the case.
I'm just saying, when I look at numbers, I'm wondering how they arrive at them, because that one student that, let's say, took it 5 times, they would have a cumulative score, would they not?
They take the best score out of that and place into this data.
Into this data, just
Yes.
the best
So,
score?
Yes, from my understanding.
So the Webster average of 21.3 would be the average of the cumulative scores of all the Webster students that took it?
Yes.
Their best score, whether it be this year or last year?
Well, for this 1920.
But if they had a better score, this is just to clarify my own mind, I'm just.
So, the seniors this year, if they took it in 1819, that's not on here. So they could have taken some in the fall of 18, and it wouldn't be in this data.
Okay, so this would only be past.
So this data that I have right here is from 2019 through October, and it doesn't include the September test dates. So really, there's only July, February, December, October, and September.
Yeah, well, I was thinking with COVID, like you said, some were canceled, so.
Yep.
It was just to clarify in my own mind what was, thanks.
I get what Larry's saying, because it is kind of hard to, one of the things we were trying to track was trends. And for a while, our ACT scores had been not trending in the right direction. And so that's when we implemented and purchased the On to College software. And so we're hoping, Chelsea, if you can help keep us on, comparing apples to apples, so we know that, okay, this is from hypothetically January through December, January 1st through December 31st, 2020, here you go. Or whatever that time frame is, could we start making sure that we're comparing that? Because we're going to ask you back again, I'm confident, every year, because we want to invest in that On to College, because we're hoping to get those averages up closer to, is the magic number I remember, or I think 24, isn't that where they start getting significant college aid for in-state support?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And I think that was our primary goal last year, or was it 2 years ago when we had the conversation? Because now we're in year 2 of that, Jim?
We're just starting year 2 of the On to College.
Okay. That's our goal. That's the big thing we were trying, because we had, at that time, Jamie was on the board, and a lot of kids, they would be stuck at a 22 or a 23, and they'd be taking the test over and over, trying to get that one extra point, because is it like $6,000 a year or something along those lines?
Yep, the subsequent opportunity is $6,500 over the 4 years.
Yeah, and so that's what we were looking at, is $5,000, I think, is what it cost us for however many years. Or it was a nice number. If we just had one kid get that 24, it was worth the payment to the district and to our taxpayers. So if we can keep working with that, that would be great.
Yeah, and that's my plan with the 10th graders in the spring, is to start introducing more of the ACT prep and test prep, that kind of stuff. working on that with juniors, but a lot of your juniors are already testing, just because they're getting ready to take full credit. So they're ahead.
Good.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
You know, October is generally Construction Awareness Month, and we've always done a lot of stuff in the past, and I know, you know, in the month of October, getting students or staff out, seeing the different businesses, and I know with COVID, you know, we probably can't do that this year, but are there other things that we can be doing, or do you have plans on trying to expose kids to more of the technical stuff?
There was an email that I forwarded on to Mr. Larson and Ms. Poole for virtual tours of different manufacturing in Webster, so.
Oh, great.
They have that.
Good.
We were also contacted by, I'm not sure the specific organization, but somebody in Aberdeen that does a construction, kind of an introduction type thing. And they wanted to know if we were still doing field trips this year. I did inform them that if we could make it work and keep it safe, yes, we would participate in that, but I haven't received anything back. I'm not sure if they're going forward with those.
Okay.
Or if they're gonna do something virtual.
Well, Mrs. Larson, thank you very much for coming here tonight. We appreciate you taking time out, and feel free to leave. You don't have to hang out. But also for putting together the report.
Yeah.
We look forward to everything you do. Hard job, I mean, because the number one goal of our whole district is to get kids ready to adult, you know, to be out there in the real world. And so you have a major piece in that. So thank you very much for everything you're doing. All right, superintendent report, Dr. Block.
I've got a few things on my my list here. The first thing I want to mention was our school webpage is up and running. Many of you probably already know that. It is actually an app. You can go to your app store, I'm not sure what it's called for Android. Playworld or whatever. And just search Webster area and it should pop up as the Bearcats webpage. And then you can download that onto your phone. I've got it on my phone. Mr. Case and I both have something called Thrill Share on our computers and our phones, so we can actually send out messages wherever we're at. If you were at the volleyball game on Thursday evening, and I'll get to that a little bit later, but I actually sent a message out while I was at the volleyball game regarding some contact tracing and cases that we had for COVID. And so that was actually done all virtually while I was at the game. I didn't see much of the game, but nonetheless, I was able to do it there.
On the Android, it's Play Store.
Play Store. And so we've heard a lot of positive comments regarding the web page because it's actually an app versus a web page where you have to go to it, click, click, click. And you just have to go so far down in on the old web page. So right now, we're hearing positive responses. The only thing that I can say that is a little bit not frustrating even, but just a little bit of cumbersome is if we send something via the news and place it in our announcements or the news feed, whatever I post, eventually I have to delete that. I would guess that there's probably an automatic delete that we can ask them to set up, I would hope. Otherwise it stays there. So if something I posted 3 weeks ago that really has nothing to do with anything anymore, it's going to still be there until I delete it, until we get something set up with an automatic deletion date or something. So that would really be the only downside that I've seen of it. Otherwise, it's extremely easy to use. The voiceover compared to the Infinite Campus messaging for me is you actually can just do it right on your phone. I can do it on my computer. You just click record, and I can say whatever I want. And if I don't like what I said or if I mess up, I just push record and end it, and then push record again, and it takes right over it. With Infinite Campus, I'd have to call this number in Minnesota or something like that, put in 4 codes, and put in another code, and then record it, and then go save it, and then go get it, and upload it. It was a bit more cumbersome. I really needed to be with a computer to make my voice go over the system with Infinite Campus, where this one I can just do it on my phone. So look forward to that, and we will continue to do promotional messages going out. If you've seen those or heard them, it's all part of the promoting our school district and promoting our webpage. So if you've got the app and you're already tired of hearing those messages, it's just for those that maybe haven't uploaded or downloaded the app. So, you have any questions regarding the webpage? I could try to answer them, but
Have you guys heard feedback on it at all, or?
Just positive.
Positive?
it's much faster and much more user-friendly, there's no doubt about that. A lot faster.
Yeah, I like it.
I have on here COVID cases, district summary. I'm just going to mention John. Amanda had contacted me regarding the story that she had written for this last weekend's newspaper, and she did as best she could as a journalist to contact me as late as possible, I think before the paper went to print. And it was sometime on Thursday that she asked me, no, I'm just calling, double checking, make sure that there are, still no active cases within the school system. And I told her, yep, that's the case. You can go ahead and print that. And of course, went to the volleyball game that evening and was notified. And so, right now, and this is a message that I had already sent out. I'm more specific with numbers. We have one adult that is a staff member that has tested positive for COVID, and then we have 5 students. The thing about the 5 students that I have been willing to say, but we've got to be careful in a small town because it's easy to identify, is technically it's 2 families. And so I have had some people that were just wondering when are we closing school, and to me 2 families, yes, it is 5 students and 1 teacher. It's significant numbers in one day, but I don't believe that that's going to cause us to close school. If we were to close school, we'd probably be looking at the high school before anything else, because that's where the majority of the cases are. So that's where we're at right now with the cases in our district. I can still say, I believe I can still say, I looked at it earlier today, I don't believe that there's been any close contact that is tested positive. Meaning if they've been on a close contact list and then tested positive within their quarantine time, that still has not yet happened. Which I think that's a good statistic to discuss or mention. So, as for any students coming back early, have we had any?
You mean day 7?
Yeah, day 7. I don't believe we've had any at the high school.
We had 1.
Mine didn't, Jim. I got the test for my kids.
Oh, that's correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we had another middle school.
But I think their quarantine was going to be up within a day or 2 when they return.
You
so
can get a
it's
test,
supposed to be done,
if you're looking for a test, you can go to Sioux Falls Hy-Vee. Go pick up a gallon of milk, groceries, and get your COVID test. Can't get it at the clinic, but you can at Sioux Falls Hy-Vee. You can sign up. They have you can Google it, and they have it, I think, like on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And I think my kids went down there on a Saturday, and they had Gavin, Aaron, and Carly's results Tuesday night. And Caleb did a quick test and was able to get a quick test in Watertown. But it is hard to find tests, like we talked about last meeting.
Yeah, and since you're talking about your own particular situation, I believe day 7 was actually Friday, wasn't it?
Correct, and we had them tested
So
on a Saturday
they didn't come
anyway.
back to
Yep.
day 10 or
Yep.
11. So. But yes, nonetheless, that is earlier than the 14 days. So. Any questions regarding the COVID or anything we're doing or not doing?
Are any more kids masking up with that latest policy that we passed?
I do believe we've seen an increase in our high school for masking up. It's not where I'd like it to be, but it definitely did make a difference. If I were to say anything with a percentage, we might have saw 3 to 5% more doing it more often in the hallways and in the classrooms when they're asked to. So, yeah, the unfortunate reality is we have parents and students who are on both ends of the spectrum. There are some that absolutely think it's a total waste of time to be wearing masks, and it's ridiculous that we would even consider it, and that we strongly encourage it. And then there's others that just, they don't believe we should be open unless everybody's wearing masks 100% of the time. So, yeah, it's a difficult balance, I can tell you that. Personal record forms, this is something that I put together on an annual basis. It's required. I'm not even sure why I put that on there. I know I had some discussions with Lori regarding it. One of the things that I wanted to make sure is we have to put in there the years of experience and the salaries for each staff member. And then it also lists their teaching assignments. And so the thing that I was going to mention there is we do have 3 plans of intent that are required. A plan of intent is what was probably called an authority to act 15 years ago. Plan of intent means somebody is teaching in an area that they're not fully certified in. And I do have Mr. Tobin as a freshman physical science teacher. He is technically certified to teach physical science at the 8th grade level because he's K-8 certified, and physical science is actually can be, I'm looking to Mrs. Larson because physical science has been moved to the middle school in some school districts. And so he's qualified in the sense of preparation, but not with the being certified at the high school level. Carrie Wagner is not fully certified. I think she had a lapse in her certification, but she's definitely qualified to teach the pre-algebra that she's teaching. And that's also a temporary position, so it's not anything that we've got to worry about. They typically give us 2 years to correct these plans of intent. And then the other one, there's a third one. I'm trying to think. Oh, yes. Mackenzie LeBlanc is not certified in health. Hers is probably the easiest one. She can take a praxis exam for middle school health, and once she successfully completes that, then she'll be fully certified. She had all intent to do that prior to the school year starting, but they canceled all of the testing sessions, so she was unable to actually take a test. And being a future mother here in the very near future, and a volleyball coach and a brand new teacher, she just kind of put it on hold. Again, she has 2 years to do that, so nothing too significant with our PRFs. The district and state report card, I just wanted to mention that. There's really not a lot of data to look at because there's no smarter balanced assessments. There are ACT scores, and those will be kind of calculated into it the best that they can. The NCRC is one of the tests that Mrs. Larson was telling you that we did very, very well on. And this is where I have to be careful, but unfortunately, the data that's being used for this fall's report card is actually a previous class that unfortunately didn't do very well on. If you recall, a year ago, Mrs. Miller and I had informed you that we actually didn't have the NCR, we didn't administer the NCRC a year ago in the spring because it had been canceled 3 times or postponed 3 times due to inclement weather. And we eventually just said, you know, it's late in the year, we're just not going to worry about it. Well, that actually negatively affected our ability to meet the standards for college and career readiness. We were aware of that, acknowledged it, and we said we're going to make sure that we test again. We did test the seniors last year, and unfortunately the tests were not as positive as we'd hoped to. They were tested in, I believe, February, before we get dismissed. So if you see a low percentage in the college and career readiness, a good portion of that is ACT scores, the AccuPlacer scores, and then the NCRC. Normally, as she had stated with our NCRC test scores for this year, this fall, that's what will be used for the report card next year. Normally, you would see those scores help us meet that standard. I think one of the things we're going to have to do is really do a stronger campaign of convincing the students that these tests are important. When I did go back and look at the actual tests, I can look at the students and their score, and it's very frustrating. I'm not going to get into individual scores, but it's very frustrating to see some of the scores because I would guess that what happened is they didn't take it serious and therefore just kind of completed it quickly, and thus we got some of the scores that we received. So we have to figure out how to convince the students that it's important. We're held accountable as a school district And that accountability is not just for us as a school district. When you start comparing us to the other schools, I don't want to be down here when Millbank's here or Groton. There's no reason for our students not to be as successful as some of those other districts that are similar in size. So that will be one of our challenges. I'm not sure how we're going to get there, but it's going to be something we're going to try to focus on. That's really what I have for the superintendent's report, and then I've got some other things for the buildings and grounds and NESC. So, any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Block. Mr. Case, principal report.
Just give you an update on the outdoor classroom. Mr. Larson and his students have been working on that, so thankfully we've had some nice weather. So they're almost completed with that. Looks like he's getting ready to pour some concrete. And then we have not ordered the tables yet for out there, but we're looking into that. So hopefully that'll be done soon. I didn't ask Mr. Larson when they planned on pouring, but it looks like he's getting ready for it. So. Then the other good news, you saw Amanda's nice article in the paper, our National Blue Ribbon Award. So that's credit to our teachers and students and community and our hardworking staff. So we have a good bunch of teachers. It was very exciting to get that award.
Craig, that is a very nice award. Please, on behalf of the board, pass along to the staff and everybody that is working within the school district our sincere appreciation for what they have done. I mean, that's a nice write-up. I mean, obviously, they're doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it was good. That's all I had were those two things.
Anything from Mr. Case? Okay. NESC.
They have contracted with Dakota Educational Consulting to hire a new director, and Martin and I were actually discussing that this evening. He has chosen not to be a participant in that, and I normally am on the steering committee, but I've chosen not to be as well, just for some reasons of some support for one of the candidates. I didn't want it to have to be a conflict of interest for me serving on the committee and then also supporting one of the candidates. They will be doing interviews, or excuse me, a review of the candidates in either late December or early January, and start the interviews the last week or the latter part of the first week, early part of the second week in January, so that they can have a timely transition for hopefully interview, offer, and then approve the contract at their normal January meeting. So that's their goal. Dakota Education Consulting, one of the better things about it, I think Dakota Education Consulting is a little bit expensive. It's about $6,600, and I know some districts that use it and they swear by it. One of the best parts of the process is that they do actually do some recruiting. If they know somebody that might be a quality candidate for the position that might be interested in looking into something like that, they do actually go out and say, you know, we're looking for this and you'd be a great candidate. So that part does come with that Dakota Education Consulting. As of our last meeting, which was last Wednesday, they had 2 positive cases that were staff, and then 4 that were listed as close contact staff members. And they've been dealing with COVID, basically the same that we have. And then as you see there, I have September 21st was the first day since August 11th, so it was more than a month that they did not have a COVID-related absence. And so I think that's basically what you're seeing with just about any business or organization or school, is there's absences that are existing because of some things associated with COVID. I don't know, did you have anything, Martin, regarding the meeting recently?
Well, the reason that I declined from it is they were discussing hiring that individual, and it was brought up that every school board member that's on that committee should be part of that process. So there was going to be the committee that Dr. Black was just talking about, plus 20 more board members. And I just said, I don't need to be 23, 24, 25 people is enough. So I just said, I'm going to step down from it.
When is Jerry done? I can't remember.
He is done at the end of this school year. It'll be done in June.
In June.
Yeah. That was also part of my reasoning. We had a meeting last Wednesday evening, and it was a productive meeting, but far too long. I really just didn't feel like I could commit the time that I would need to, especially when they were discussing having 24 board members that would have to meet. And Tom Oster is kind of the director for this education consulting, and he said, this is an in-person thing. We're not doing virtual stuff. It is not going to happen virtual. So they're looking for a facility where they can have 24 people that can discuss and be social distanced, and I just thought it was too much. Too often when you have too many people involved with the decision-making process, it does extend it. It's maybe not a bad thing, but it just extends the process so much that.
So they're hoping to offer a contract in January.
In January.
So that'll give them a fair amount of time to transition.
Yep. Yeah.
Because the business manager is fairly new, and
there hasn't been any discussion with, once they hire the new person, if there will be a kind of a transition period where there's a shadowing for a little while or not, but normally that
suppose that'll depend on the candidate.
That doesn't normally happen a whole lot with superintendents and principals and things, because the people you usually hire are able to come in and kind of learn the organization in a short amount of time.
So I saw in there they were looking for a facility, and that's just for this interviewing process, it's not for their monthly meetings?
Yeah, the monthly meetings, once Lake Area Tech allows us the ability to meet there again. Right now, they're still not.
Oh, you don't even go there to meet, it's all virtual?
Yeah, it's all virtual. There are some folks that do meet, but they've been meeting, well, he and I have been doing it virtual, which we think is just wonderful. It's made it a lot easier for us to attend. I think they're meeting at the Ramada, isn't it? Is that what they have as a Ramada?
I think so, yeah.
On the west end of town.
Okay.
So. Anyway, that's what I have for NESC.
Okay. Any other questions? Buildings and grounds.
I've got a few items here. The boiler for the high school and the middle school, we are filling it. I believe it's going to be ready to go once the weather turns cold. So, yeah, I was going to say knock on wood and keep your fingers crossed. We don't have anything right now too concerning regarding the actual boiler, so hopefully that's going to be fine. Unfortunately, when we did have some folks looking at the boiler and when they were filling the boiler, they noticed there was something wrong with one of the water heaters. The domestic water heater, it's a commercial water heater, pretty good size. I don't know how many gallons it holds. But Mike Nicky came and kind of looked at it for us, and the whole bottom of the tank was rusted out. And so it's not one you can repair or change an element and call it good. So we did get a quote on that, and it's kind of expensive. It's $4,200 just for the boiler itself. That doesn't include the installation. And Ace Plumbing was here Thursday and Friday. They were here Friday to hopefully install that. So you'll be seeing that in the claims for next month.
That's gas?
I don't know. I would bet that it's natural gas, because we have natural gas on the boiler, and it's just, it's not even 15 feet away from the boiler. It's kind of up on the shelf. The entrance doors, elementary, business office, and armory, they're all installed. They actually look nice. It is actually amazing when you start using those newer doors where they function properly. It's just, I know the ones at the armory, you used to have to twist that thing like 17 times before you could unlock it, and then 17 times to lock it again. And it's so nice to just push it in half a turn and voila, you got it. If you've noticed on the office entrance at the armory, we did recess the actual doorway in, and we did that on purpose, far enough for a full swing of the door so that it doesn't actually go outside of the foundation of the building. We did that because we've been fighting the concrete down there it's been poured twice since I've been the superintendent in '05, and we just can't seem to get a solution to that not rising enough to where it would actually stop the door from opening. And so that was our reasoning for recessing that door. It will cause us an issue with snow removal, because there's going to be that little pocket that will probably gather some snow in there. But it's 3 feet, that should be a lot less hassle than trying to grind down the concrete in the middle of the winter so that you can actually open the door and use the facility. So that's why it's recessed the manner that it is. And the elementary condensing unit, you might have seen that in the claims for this month. We had one of the units on top of the elementary, bearings went out on it. And that cost is actually including some of the warranties, so it could have been a lot more expensive. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was, I just noticed it tonight when I was driving to the meeting. If you look to the east, there's actually a nice brand new fence on the east side of the east parking lot that separates us from private property and our parking lot, and that would be as a result of Caleb Sanis's Eagle Scout project. Do you have any blisters, Tom? Or
No. I was good at taking instructions.
So, and I was asking
just
Tom,
like I always am.
I was asking him prior to the meeting if they had a good group of people there, and it sounds like you had some good
15.
help and quite a few people helping. So, congratulations to Caleb in earning his Eagle Scout. He'll be recognized for that later on, but also thank him for putting something together like that. If you notice the southeast parking lot, that fence has been there for 20 plus years, I believe. It was here, well, I started 20 years ago and it was already here. So that fence has withstood a lot of weather and probably a few vehicles bumping into it, things like that over the years. So it'll be a nice addition to our district for many years.
Can I just jump in here for a second? I want to go back to the boiler conversation. We keep kicking this can, and it's gonna get us one of these days. And I know now is maybe not the best time in the world to start this conversation, but maybe hopefully things will settle down here with COVID in the next couple months, and I think we need to start looking at what we're gonna do here. I'm just throwing it out there. I think we need to start the conversation.
I agree, Joel. I mean, it's a big project, and we've Band-Aided it. We've talked about it for, well, I think every year since I've been on the board. We think the boiler goes back to what year? 30s? 40s?
I believe I don't know this for sure, but I believe it was 1939.
Wow.
When that gymnasium, the wrestling room, that current gymnasium was built in 1939. It's very possible it could have been installed in like 1950 when the vocational wing was built, but I don't know which is accurate. But that's only 10, 11 years difference regardless.
Either way, you're talking 81 or 70-year-old boiler. I mean, we've gotten our use out of it. I mean, we need to do this right. I mean, we should spend our money wisely and invest in that vocational wing. I mean, the vocational wing was 1950, and I would respectfully submit that we're not doing ag like we did in 1950 either anymore. You know, we need to update that vocational portion of our school and bring it into the 21st century, bottom line.
I think we would spend our money so much wiser being proactive than reactive.
Yes.
It's a tough conversation to have, but we need to have it.
I agree.
The reactive part is scary.
It is. It's very
scary. If that boiler were to, just give in January, we've got a mess on our hands. Any January, it doesn't matter if it's this year, next year, or 5 years down the road. If it happens in the middle of our heating season, it's not going to be a good thing.
Well, Joel, maybe then, I mean, instead of just talking about it, do we start making it an agenda item so that we're discussing it and start moving forward here next month? I mean, I'm just throwing it out to the group. I mean, what do we think? Because we can always talk about it, but if we don't do something, talk is cheap.
I would say after the first of the year, we should.
Okay.
What do you mean by an agenda item?
Just to keep us on pace. I mean, whether we form a task force to look at what our options are, figure our costs. I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, I think, what options do we have? What are our courses of action that we can take? And who's going to determine those courses of action? to give us a, you know.
I think we should, I mean, yes, I think we should have a task force. I guess the next question is, who sits on it? Do we have board members? Do we have any public? You know, who do we? I don't know how that works. But I'd like to figure it out.
What do you guys think?
Are we using the boiler issue to skirt the topic that we're all thinking about as an excuse to?
No, I wouldn't call it an excuse. I would call it a good business decision. We know we need to replace our boiler. We know that it's in that area of the facility. And so I think that, you know, if we were to go do a walkthrough, I think that our usage of that square footage is very minimal. I think it all goes together.
We've done a walkthrough.
You know,
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, you know, actually, that is a good idea. You know, one of the things we should probably do is just even doing a walkthrough. Have we done a walkthrough with this current board? I mean,
no.
Mr. Gatkowski, you haven't? Marty, have you done a walkthrough there with us on the board since you came on? Okay, so I mean, it would probably, the last one would have been with maybe with Larry's new on the board.
We were down the boiler room and, yeah.
Well, that was before we took over the lease at the, you know, the CTE building, so that's been 4 or 5 years
And
ago.
then the wing over there.
We are in year 4 with the career tech at least.
Yep. So it's been 5 years.
Yeah, so that means 2 of our members, you know, 40%. Maybe what we should do is at least start with a walkthrough. And let's plan on doing a walkthrough at our, you know, I don't want, this meeting's gonna be nice and short. We will be out of here by 8 o'clock on somebody's, unless somebody throws us off, Lori. All right, and so that's gonna be on Joel. But maybe we do a walkthrough in November. And I don't know if it's skirting the issue. I mean, the issue might be we just do a boiler replacement. Or
Well, I mean,
we fix maybe the vocational wing.
I
Or
mean,
what
we-
is it? You know, all 3 of those courses of action, or 4 or 5. I agree with you, Larry. There's gotta be different courses.
Yeah, if we're the boiler, we can solve that issue and just have it remote and be done. We've already priced that out several times. And for future use, I mean, it's.
That's what we gotta figure out, which actions we wanna choose.
Yeah, we know that action, but.
Let's plan on doing a walkthrough. And then if board members can get to Jim or Lori their ideas as to, I mean, I do like the idea of having, I don't want, you know, an exploratory group task force. You know, obviously would have to have board leadership, but members of the community, if they're interested in helping in that type of thing, it's always good to get community input. And let's start maybe trying to put together a framework here in November and December, so January we can hit the ground running. Joel, with an idea on that.
I'd be good with that.
Do we still have access to some of the planning that was done on the Fine Arts Center and the wing and some of that drawings? And
We do have the drawings, you know. There were, this is going back in my memory here, there were 3 different versions. One was in the high school parking lot, one was going to the east, and one was where the vocational building sits.
And I think whatever we're doing, I mean, to me, a big part of this is agriculture. I mean, it is still our #1 industry in South Dakota. And, you know, there are a lot, I mean, I pull up at home tonight and sitting across the street in the Armory parking lot is a grain truck and trailer. Obviously, some kid at football practice or at a football game, and they're driving a grain truck and a trailer to practice. I mean, agriculture, I mean, is a big deal. And we have invested money in our CTE program. I think we've done a nice job with that. It'd be nice, in my opinion, to bring that back to the campus and keep everything here. We are investing money in trying, you know, for the students that are wanting to go to college, just as we talked with the ACT, with Chelsea. I think agriculture is an area that we need to look at doing an investment in down there. You know, that industrial arts room, for all of us that came through from 1970, I mean, George Stewart was there for how many decades? That room, since he left, has, been vacant for that portion of the building trades, or for our trades. And that's a significant size. I mean, was that a third of the vocational wing almost down there is just the old industrial arts room and probably the shop?
We've got ag shop, that, and 3 other rooms, so it's if you don't count the ag shop, it's 1/4 of the classrooms down there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think these are, we need to fix that vocational wing. That's an issue. We need to figure out where we're taking it. And it might not happen in 5 months, 6 months, 9 months, but I think it's about time we start putting together a more concrete plan, Joel. What do you think, Marty?
I agree. I think we should look at it.
And we currently have a 5-year agreement with the CTE building on Main Street. And I would guess that we could probably enter into shorter terms later on if we need to, but that is something we need to consider, unfortunately, 1.5 years from now already. Because we're in year 4 and we have a 5-year agreement, so at the completion of the 21-22 school year, we'll be either going into a shorter term agreement or doing something different if it's an option.
Mr. Grakowski, sound good to you?
Yeah. It's not gonna hurt.
Always listen.
Well, Jim, let's plan on doing a walk through the vocational wing in
Did you want to
November.
do that prior to next board meeting or at next board meeting, or?
Do we want to just do the meeting? Is everybody okay on that next board meeting? I think it's November 9th? What if we did that at 6:30? Would that be okay? And then we could start the meeting at 6:30 and
We don't need to be outdoors to look at anything. Too dark.
flashlight on our phones. If we all shine them together, Aaron, we'll look really
Well, it
bright.
depends on how extensive you want to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some,
When you look at where the garages are.
Have you ever
access to the
been, since you've been
boiler,
out of high school, down in those?
oh, you gotta go
rooms
look.
there?
It's different.
Yeah. I think it should maybe be in the daylight. Well, we could come in at our own.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we have the walkthrough with the inside of the building and everything you can see inside? We can go out, we'll do it at 6:30. If you want to get in earlier, just make a time.
Yeah, just-
Contact Jim or,
Maybe you can contact me and I can walk you through the boiler room, the old garages, the access from down there to the outside. And
Yep.
so let's have the meeting, next meeting will be Monday, November 9th, 6:30. Then, Jim, if you could start working on a framework for a working group, task force, exploratory group, whatever we want to call it, as to the vocational wing. And obviously, if anybody has comments, I'm sure they can find us, through the Reporter and Farmer or Bearcat TV. One of us 5 should be able to be tracked down. All right, anything else, buildings and grounds?
that's all I have.
Perfect. If not, I've got 7:56. Do we got a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Second?
Second.
All right, Larry raised his hand, so I'm giving it to Larry. Got the pen up. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're out of here at 7:57.